Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashcha Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter number 60, chapter entitled Lord Krishna Teaches Queen Rukmini, and verse number 37. Niskinchano nanubhavana yato asti kinchid yasmai balim bali bhujo api haranta jadyaha na tva vidante sutripo antakam adhyatandha Presto bhavana bali bhujam apite apitubhyam Niskinchano nanubhavana yato astit kinche Yasmai balim bali bhujo api haranta jadya Nota vidante asutripo antakam adhyatandha Presto bhavana bali bhujam apite apitubhyam Niskinchano nanubhavana yato asti kinche Yasmai balim bali bhujo api haranta jadya Nata vidante asutripo antakam adhyatandha Presto bhavana bali bhujam apite apitubhyam Bhujam apite apite. Please chant. Kinchano nanubhavana tu asti kinchid Yasmai balim bali bhujo api haranta jadya Nata vidanti asutripo antakamadhatanda Shavana bali bhujam apite apitubhyam Yasmai balim bali bhujo api haranta jadya Nata vidante asutripo antakamadhatanda Sho bhavan bali bhujam apite apitubhyam Vaishnavis. Shastro Bhavan Bali Bhujama Pite Apitubhyam. Word to word meaning, translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ji ki Jai. Niskinchanaha, without possessions. Nanu, indeed. Bhavan, you. Na, not. Yataha, beyond whom. Asti, there is. Kinchet, anything. Yasmai, to whom. Balim, tribute. Bali, of tribute. Bhuja, the enjoyers. Api, even. Haranti, carry. Ajadyaha, headed by Brahma. Na, not. Tva, you. Vidanti, no. Ashutripaha, person satisfied in the body. Antakam, as death. Adhyata, by their status of wealth. Andha, blinded. Prestha, the most dear. Bhavan, you. Bali Bhujam, for the great enjoyers of tribute. Api, even. Te, they. Api, also. Tubhyam, to you. Translation. You possess nothing because there is nothing beyond you. Even the great enjoyers of tribute, Brahma and other demigods, pay tribute to you. Those who are blinded by their wealth and absorbed in gratifying their senses do not recognize you in the form of death. But to the gods, the enjoyers of tribute, you are the most dear as they are to you. Purport. Here, Srimati Rukmani Devi replies to Lord Krishna's statement in text 14. Niskinchana vayam sasvan niskinchana jana priya tasmat prayana nahya adhya mam bhajanti sumadhyame. We have no material possessions and we are dear to those who are similarly have nothing. Therefore, O slender one, the wealthy hardly ever worship me. Queen Rukmini begins her statement by saying, Niskinchano nanu. You are indeed Niskinchana. The word kinchan means something, and the prefix nir, or as it appears here, nis, indicates negation. Thus, in the ordinary sense, Niskinchan means one who does not have something, or in other words, one who has nothing. But in the present verse, Queen Rukmini states that Lord Krishna possesses nothing, not because he is a pauper, but because he himself is everything. In other words, since Krishna is the absolute truth, all that exists is within him. There is no second thing, something outside the Lord's existence, for him to possess. For example, a man may possess a house or a car or a child or money. But these things do not become the man. They exist outside of him. We say he possesses them merely in the sense that he has control over them. But the Lord does not merely control his creation. His creation actually exists within him. Thus, there is nothing outside of him that he can possess in the way that we possess external objects. The Acharyas explain Niskinchana in the following way. To state that a person possesses something implies that he does not possess everything. In other words, if we say that a man owns some property, we imply that he does not own all property, but rather than some specific property. A standard American dictionary defines the word some as a certain indefinite or unspecified number, quantity, etc., as distinguished from the rest. The Sanskrit word kinchan conveys the sense of partial amount of total. Thus, Lord Krishna is called Niskinchan to refute the idea that he possesses merely a certain amount of beauty, fame, wealth, intelligence, and other opulence. Rather, he possesses infinite beauty, infinite intelligence, infinite wealth, and so on. This is so because he is the absolute truth. Srila Prabhupada begins his introduction to the first canto, volume 1 of the Srimad Bhagavatam with the following statement, which is quite relevant to our present discussion. The conception of God and the conception of the absolute truth are not on the same level. The Srimad Bhagavatam hits on the target of the absolute truth. The conception of God indicates the controller, whereas the conception of the absolute truth indicates the summum bonum, or the ultimate source of all energies. Here, Srila Prabhupada touches upon a fundamental philosophical point. God is commonly defined as the Supreme Being, and the dictionary defines Supreme as highest in rank, power, authority, etc. Second, highest in quality, achievement, performance, etc. Third, highest in degree. And fourth, final, ultimate. None of these definitions adequately indicates absolute existence. For example, we may say that a particular American is supremely wealthy in the sense that he is wealthier than any other American. Or we may speak of the Supreme Court as the highest court in the land, although it certainly does not have absolute authority in all political and social matters, since it shares authority in these fields with the legislature and the president. In other words, the word supreme indicates the best in a hierarchy, and thus the Supreme Being may merely be understood as the best or greatest of all beings, but not as the very source of all other beings, and indeed of everything that exists. Thus, Srila Prabhupada specifically points out the concept of the absolute truth, Krishna, is higher than the concept of Supreme Being. And this point is essential to clear understanding of a Vaishnava philosophy. Lord Krishna is not merely a Supreme Being, he is absolute being. And that is exactly the point his wife is making. Thus the word Niskinchana indicates not that Krishna possesses no opulence, but rather all opulence. In that sense, she accepts his definition of himself as Niskinchana. In text 14, Lord Krishna also stated, Niskinchana jana priya. I am dear to those who have nothing. Here, however, Queen Rukmini points out that the demigods, the wealthiest souls in the universe, regularly make offerings to the Supreme Lord. We may assume that the demigods, being the Lord's appointed representatives, know that everything belongs to him, in the sense that everything is a part of him, as explained above. Therefore, the statement Niskinchana jana priya is correct in the sense that since nothing exists except the Lord and his potencies, no matter how wealthy the Lord worshipper appear to be, they are in fact offering him nothing but his own energy as a loving act. The same idea is exemplified when one worships the Ganges river by offering Ganges water, Or when a child gets money from his father on the father's birthday and buys him a gift, the father is paying for his own present, but what he is really interested in is the child's love. Similarly, the Supreme Lord manifests the cosmos, and the conditioned souls collect various items of Lord's creation. Pious souls offer some of the best items from their collection back to the Lord as a sacrifice, and thus purify themselves. Since the whole cosmos and everything in it is simply Lord's energy, we may say that those who worship the Lord possesses nothing. In more conventional terms, people who are proud of their great wealth do not bow down to God. Queen Rukmini also mentions these fools, satisfied with their temporary bodies. They do not understand the divine power of death which stalks them. The demigods, however, who are by far the wealthiest living beings, regularly offer sacrifices to the Supreme Lord, and thus the Lord is most dear to them, as stated here. श्री श्री राधा रास बिहारी जी की जय, श्री श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण की जय, श्री श्री गौर निताई की जय, जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम ज्ञानातिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरछातां सहगना रघुनाथां वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विज्वानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So I seek all of your blessings to be able to speak something on this very deep, divine and very high subject matter. And especially today is a different scenario for me. Day before yesterday, Prabhu asked me to give Bhagavatam class. And in the night I asked one of my roommates, because that day I went to Bhivandi, that what's the verse number? So he said, I don't remember, I'll check on YouTube. So it was 10:60:35. The lecture by Kali Charan Prabhu. So I said, okay, I have to speak on then 10:60:36. So yesterday I prepared very nicely on 10:60:36. And today morning I thought that before I go and give class, I should hear what Kali Charan Prabhu spoke on 10:60:35. So I just went on YouTube to hear his lecture. And he was speaking on 10:60:36. So around 7:45, I realized that I have to speak on 10:60:37. So I will try my best to something what I read in the purport right now, elaborate on some of these points. 10:60:37, today's verse. So this particular chapter, the name is Lord talks between Krishna and Rukmini. And we see here that one time Rukmini Devi decided to personally serve the Lord. Lord came to his palace and Lord was sitting on his bed, and there were so many maid servants who could do yak fan, who could fan the Lord, but Rukmini Devi decided to personally fan the Lord. And Lord Krishna would spend most of his time in the palace of Rukmini Devi. So one time this has happened that Narad Muni had got one parijat flower which Krishna gave to Rukmini Devi. And when Satyabhama came to know about this, she was very angry and she also wanted something more. Krishna tried to please Satyabhama a lot, but she was only satisfied when Krishna got the whole parijat plant. So Krishna was just thinking that Satyabhama got so angry. I gave one flower to Rukmini Devi and Satyabhama got so angry. And to pacify her, I had to bring the whole parijat plant. But I never find Rukmini angry. She is always very submissive. She is always very humble, serving me, peaceful. I mean, she never shows any kind of anger. So Krishna has this desire that I want to see the anger of Rukmini Devi. I want to make her little irritated, angry. So he just made a plan one day that how to make Rukmini Devi little angry. So one particular day when Krishna went to the palace of Rukmini Devi and he's on the bed, Rukmini Devi is personally fanning and serving Krishna. At that time, Krishna starts speaking some jokes, like we must have read in the previous verses. So there, Srila Sukdev Goswami, when he is explaining this particular chapter to Parikshit Maharaj, in the very first 3 verses, he cautions that the pastime which he is going to speak is not any material affair or any sensual affair of husband and wife, but actually these are the pastimes of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the first 3 verses addresses Krishna as the one who is the creator, destroyer, he is the generator, he is the supreme God, and like that he is Ananta. So in that various verses, Sukdev Goswami again and again establishes and stress on this point that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But right now he is performing his pastime just like any common human being. So just like there are jokes between husband and wife, Krishna also wanted to joke to create some anger in Rukmini Devi. So Krishna starts speaking where he says that you are, you married me, but I ran away from the battlefield and I came to your palace not just to kidnap you. That was just I kidnapped you just to humble down all the other kings. It was not that I have love for you, but all the kings, they became so proud. So I wanted to humble them. I wanted to punish them. And just as a matter of punishing them, I kidnapped you. Moreover, I don't have any property. I have made my palace in ocean. I ran away. So like that in many verses, Krishna says Rukmini Devi that you had a better opportunity to marry someone else and still you can reconsider. And Prabhupada writes in this particular chapter when he's explaining in Krishna book, that's Prabhupada has given us Krishna book, so that particular chapter is there in Krishna book. And in this particular chapter, Prabhupada named the chapter Talks Between Krishna and Rukmini. However, here the chapter is entitled Lord Krishna teaches Queen Rukmini. So there Prabhupada explains that in one way Lord Krishna was saying that you can divorce me and you can go and you can choose some better king of your match so that you can make better advancement in your life. So Prabhupada uses that word. But in our culture there is nothing like divorce. So that is not possible for Rukmini Devi. So then when Rukmini Devi hears all this, Krishna was expecting that Rukmini will become very angry like Satyabhama and she will have sidelong glances, her lips will tremble out of anger, and that was the expectation of Krishna. But something else only happened. When Rukmini Devi heard Krishna speaking in this way, she became so disheartened or she became so fearful that Krishna may leave her, she fainted. She just fainted there. And when she fainted, Krishna immediately comes in 4-handed form and lifts Rukmini Devi and again removes her scattered hair and pacifies her, removes her tear. And he says, oh Rukmini Devi, I was just speaking all these things to tease you. There was nothing to just to joke with you and tease with you. So then Rukmini Devi gets little pacified. And when she's pacified, then she starts speaking all those verses which Krishna spoke, countering those verses, using the same words, that how these verses are actually applicable in you, and you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So like this verse number 14, which Krishna speaks, in response to that verse, Rukmini Devi is speaking this particular verse. So what Krishna spoke in verse number 14, he said, we have no material possessions. We are dear to those who are similar, who similarly have nothing. Therefore, wealthy hardly ever worship me. So Krishna says he has no material possessions, and similarly he is dear to those who have no material possessions, and wealthy people don't worship him. And very elaborately in the purport is described that how actually Krishna has no material possessions, because he is the absolute truth, and being the absolute truth, he himself has expended everything as his energy. So it's not that he possesses those, but actually it is his energy. Like in Bhagavad-gita, Krishna says, Matah paratram nanyat kintu asti dhananjaya mai sarvavidam proktam sutre mani ganaiva matah paratram nanyat. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matah sarvam pravartate. So it is Krishna himself who has expended, who has his energy everywhere. So how he is possessor of anything? So that's how Kunti Devi is glorifying Krishna using his own words, using the words of Krishna, and he says, Niskinchano nanu bhavan yato asti kinchid. You possess nothing because there is nothing beyond you. And although you don't possess anything, all the great demigods like Brahma, Shiva, Indra, they all come and they all pay all tribute to you. They offer all kind of prayers to you. They are always subservient to you. So sometimes, sometimes this is also explained that why Krishna was teasing Rukmini Devi, because sometimes a devotee becomes pride. So there was slight prideness in Rukmini Devi that I am the favorite queen of Krishna, and Krishna loves me the most, and Krishna spends most of his time in my palace. So I am his favorite. And this slight pride was there in Rukmini Devi. So whenever there is some kind of pride and Krishna smells that the devotee is developing some pride, then he makes out some way how to remove the pride of that devotee. So many, Krishna has so many things in his pastimes. One place he is joking, at the other time he wants to remove the pride of his devotee. And we see very common, like it is Govardhan Leela, Indra became proud, so Krishna humbled him. Brahma Vimohan Leela, Brahmaji became proud, Krishna humbled him. Sometimes when we are doing some service, like for example book distribution, one day we distribute a lot of books and we may be proud. The next day no one takes a book and we become humble. Or sometimes, every one of us, if we are sincerely trying to practice Krishna consciousness, will experience that even if we develop little bit of pride in our service, there is a situation which will humble us. Some situation Krishna will create which will humble us. Sometimes, one time I was taking care of during the COVID time, I was in Bhiwandi for most of the time and taking care of the kitchen. So we're preparing a lot of nice feast every day. So I thought devotees will be very happy, and I was feeling so nice. See, I'm making feast every day for devotees. They'll be so happy that they're getting feast every day to eat. So one devotee came with a lot of frustration. This is such a heavy food. I cannot digest it. I cannot do my seva. Whole day I feel sleepy. Can't you make some simple food for our devotees? And I am feeling that I am telling cooks make nice feast, and this is a humbling experience. So like that, if we just remain in association of devotees, in this wonderful association of devotees, this association will ensure that we don't become proud and we don't go away from Krishna consciousness. There would be some opportunity to again make us humble. So similarly, not exactly similarly, but this is the pastime of actually Lakshmi Narayan. Here it is transcendental platform. Krishna says in Gita, Naham prakasa sarvasya yog maya samavrita. I don't reveal myself to everyone. Only bhaktya mam abhijanati. Only my devotees can understand me. No one else can understand me. So outside people, when they read these pastimes, it is very difficult for them to understand what Krishna is doing. Although Krishna lifted Govardhan hill for 7 days and nights, still people don't accept him as Supreme Personality of Godhead. What to speak of people not accepting him as Supreme Personality of Godhead, even the Brajvasis don't accept him. Brajvasis don't accept him, that is Yog Maya. And for outside people not accepting him, that is illusory energy of Krishna. So some or other people don't accept him as Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna enacts various pastimes and only his devotees can understand. Bhaktya mama vijanati. Only by bhakti, by the teachings of the acharyas, we can understand these divine pastimes. If we don't have shelter, if we don't have the commentary of the previous acharyas, it's very difficult to understand Krishna joking in a certain way, and just like a affair of husband and wife. So this pride was there little bit in Rukmini, and Krishna wanted to remove that pride, and that's why he started speaking in this way, telling that I am not a suitable husband for you, and you are wasting your time with me. Whatever happened now you can find out someone else. At this point of time, Srila Prabhupada explains in Krishna book that Rukmini Devi was in her advanced stage, and she was having her grandsons also. She was having grown-up sons, grandsons, and there is no question for her to now think of someone else. But just Krishna wants to make her humble. So when Krishna speaks that I am Niskanchana, I have no possession, she is counteracting by saying this, that all the demigods, Brahma, Shiva, Indra, they all come, they pay tribute to you. They are paying their obeisances to you. They all are enjoyers of various tribute, but you are the most dear to them and they are to you. And they come and offer your tribute, their tributes to them, to you. And those who are blinded by the wealth, like Krishna said in text 14, that those who are wealthy, very wealthy people, they don't worship me. So those who are very much blinded by wealth, they don't come and worship Krishna. Because Kunti Devi says in her prayers, Janmeshwarya Shuta Shivir, Edamana Madha Puman. What is the next line? Tom Akinchana Gocharam. Tom Akinchana Gocharam. Like the word come here, Niskinchana, Akinchana. So Kinchan means something, Niskinchana or Akinchana means something, one who doesn't possess anything. So Tom Akinchana Gocharam. The Janmeshwarya Shuta Shivir, a higher birth, lot of wealth, lot of education, opulence, very difficult to worship Krishna. Like many times we have our well-wisher donors. We tell them, please come Janmashtami, take darshan. It's a very special day. Lord is very merciful. They say, no, it's very crowded. There won't be any parking and I cannot stay in crowd. So I cannot come for darshan on Janmashtami. So although it is so great, it will be great fortune to come and take darshan of the Lord on Janmashtami. But those who have a lot of wealth, they will not come because they want very, very VIP facility. It's okay, they are supporting Krishna conscious movement. But in other ways, lot of wealth, very difficult for them to come. Every time they look for opportunity, I will go to temple, okay, do you have parking facility? Do you have a special darshan facility? When is the time it is least crowded? So very difficult, lot of wealth. Janmeshwarya Shuta Shivir, Edamana Badapuman. One gets maddened by all these opulences and difficult to surrender to Krishna. I was coming in the train from Vrindavan and there was one gentleman. He said, I respect that you are chanting, but actually I am an atheist. I don't believe in God. I run an IT company. I am a director. He's an Indian, but he has got a New Zealand citizenship. But he said, then I said, what do you believe on, Eileen? What do you believe? What's your belief? He said, I believe in Buddha, no deity. No books, no deity. So that's how when people have a lot of wealth, it's very, he says, ultimately every individual has his own values, his own idols, and that should be respected. So I respect what you do, But I don't agree with all this, and I don't believe actually there is any God. It's all wrong idea. So because they have a lot of wealth, it's very difficult, very, very difficult for people to accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of God, because they have everything. They can buy everything with money. So why they have to surrender to God? I was coming on the day of Vijayadashmi from Hyderabad. So Vijayadashmi day, and naturally, no one said on the way to Hare Krishna. No one said. I was very surprised. No one said Jai Shri Ram or Happy Vijayadashmi. But when I went to use the washroom cleaner, he said, Jai Shri Ram Guruji, आज विजयदशमी है, आपको शुभकामनाएं. So I was just thinking that so many well-to-do people, rich people met on the way. They can't even utter Hare Krishna. They can't even remember today's Vijayadashmi, say Jai Shri Ram. But here is a bathroom cleaner. His job is to remain in the toilet all the time and clean it. When he sees someone at least apparently in devotee attire, dhoti kurta tilak, he immediately utters Jai Shri Ram, Happy Vijayadashmi, Hare Krishna, with all, folded hands and lowering his forehead. So very difficult for worldly people who are blinded by wealth to surrender to Krishna, because they are so much busy making money, they are so much busy worried about their wealth, worried about increasing their wealth, protecting their wealth. So where is the time for them to come to temple? Very, very difficult. And that's why in the next verse, after Janma Shrata Shruta Shivir, in the next verse, Kunti Devi says, Namo Akinchan Vittaya Nivritta Guna Virtaye Atma Ramaya Santaya Kavalya Pate Nama. She says that Namo Akinchan Vittaya, you are the property of those who are Akinchan, who are materially impoverished. Those who have no material possession, actually you are their property. They can remember you. And in purport to this, Srila Prabhupada tells the story of Sanatana Goswami. That one time one man came to Sanatana Goswami asking for the touchstone. And Sanatana Goswami was busy chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And when this man said, Maharaj, I want touchstone, Sanatana Goswami said that it's in the actually dustbin, garbage bin. You can go and take from the garbage bin. This person went, took the touchstone from garbage bin. But because he had association of Sanatana Goswami, so some piety he got. He asked, no, how is that? What you have? I don't see, you are just sitting below a tree, just chanting Hare Krishna, loin clothes, no property, no possession, and you have kept the touchstone in the garbage bin. This means you have something better. What is that? So Sanatana Goswami said, first throw the touchstone in Yamuna and then come back. When he came back, then what did Sanatana Goswami give him? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Like this famous bhajan is there. Ekaki Yamara nahi pae bala Harinam sankirtane. Tumi kripadi, tumi shraddha bindu diya, deho Krishna nama dhane. Krishna se tomara Krishna dite paro tomara shakati ache. Ami to kangala Krishna Krishna boli dhai tava pache pache. So this beautiful bhajan where it is mentioned that Ami to kangala, I have no possession. Krishna se tomara Krishna dite paro. Actually Krishna is the property of pure devotees who are materially impoverished in both the ways. Either they can be materially impoverished, means they have no material possession, or they may be very rich, but they think that nothing belongs to me. Actually, everything is Krishna's property. So in that way, they have no material possession, because they don't accept that anything is their property. They think, every moment they feel that actually everything belongs to Krishna. Whatever I have is all Krishna's property. So in that way they are akinchan or niskinchan. They don't accept it as Krishna's property. But they have one property. What is that? Krishna se tomara Krishna dite paro. Krishna is their property. Like Krishna says in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 9th canto, Aham bhakta paradhino nahi hiya aswatantra ivadusha. I am, although Krishna is supremely independent, absolute truth, but he says, Aham bhakta paradhino. I am controlled by my devotee. I am the property of my devotee. If my devotee wants, then he can sell me to anyone. Like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells many times in terms of his pure devotee in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that I am property of Nityananda and he can sell me wherever he wants. And he tells about many other associates. I am property of this and he can sell me wherever he wants. So that's how the Lord is property of his pure devotees. Krishna se to mara, Krishna dite paro. To mara sakati ache. And it's only by the blessings of these pure devotees we can also experience Krishna in our life. We can also become Krishna conscious. It is not that anyway. So it's not that by our own endeavor that we can get Krishna, not possible. That's verse is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'm just trying to recollect. Sadhya kabhu naya, Shravan adi suddha chitta karaya udaya. Nitya siddha Krishna prema, sadhya kabhu naya. Nitya siddha Krishna prem, sadhya kabhu naya. We cannot just obtain it by some sadhana. But Shravan adi suddha chitta karaya udaya. Shravan, kirtan, perform, chanting, hear about the pastimes of Krishna, hear about the glories of Krishna, and slowly, when the heart is purified in the association of devotees, hearing and chanting, then one day we can, like Prabhupada writes in his letters many places, one day you will have face-to-face experience of Krishna. So that one day face-to-face experience of Krishna. By regularly reading, by regularly hearing about the pastimes of Krishna from the lips of the pure devotees. So that's how we can develop in our Krishna consciousness. If we distract ourselves, if we see just recollecting from my Vrindavan Yatra that visiting all these Goswami temples, all these Goswamis were just chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra all the time. And they made so beautiful temples. They're just chanting, and whatever there was desire, Krishna made the arrangements. They did not come out with a square feet plan, sponsor a room, sponsor the Deities, sponsor the temple hall. Nothing. Sponsor a pillar. No such plans. Only one plan: chant Hare Krishna. They were niskinchana, no material possession, just chanting Hare Krishna. All these Goswamis, but they were such great devotees that Lord wanted to serve them. And because Lord wanted to serve them, Lord made arrangements of sending all big businessmen. Like Srila Raghunath Das Goswami is thinking, I should make this Radha Kund all nice ghat. He is niskinchana, no material possession. Then a moment he thinks, Arey, what I am thinking, I should do my bhajan and I am thinking about all this, getting funds and getting construction. Then Lord instructs someone in Badrinath who has gone there with lot of wealth to offer to Badrinath. He says, no, go to Radha Kund and give it to my devotee. And he comes there, he wants to give to Raghunath Das Goswami. He says, you only do, make nice ghat, make it all very nicely. So that's how are the devotees of the Lord. Because Krishna is their property, what else they need? They don't need anything. Once Aham Bhakta Paradhino, when Krishna is their adhin, when Krishna is their property, then you don't need anything because Krishna is with you. And when Krishna is with us, then everything is there. So that's our goal is to some or other. This Damodar month, Damodar Lila or Yashodama is trying to capture Krishna, which is very difficult even for great sages, yogis to capture Krishna. So we try to capture material wealth or education or opulence, but actually if we just come in association of Krishna, that's our perfection of life. That is possible in association of devotees. Direct association of Krishna is also not possible. But if we get association of pure devotees, and by their association, then slowly we make more and more advancement in Krishna consciousness. And then one day we can also feel, like now I can have that face-to-face experience. Of course, a devotee never says like this, but in his heart, he always experiences that association of Krishna. And to conclude with, as written in the purport in the end, in more conventional terms, people who are proud of their great wealth do not bow down to God. Queen Rukmini also mentioned these fools, satisfied with their temporary bodies, they do not understand the divine power of death which stalks them. So all these rich people, all these people who are so much affected by the illusory energy and not ready to surrender to Krishna, we have this wonderful opportunity of marathon, Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Distribution, where we can try to give these books to all these people who are busy trying to acquire material possession, give them Srila Prabhupada books so that they read those books, or at least they touch those books, they get benefited, and one day will become Krishna consciousness. Actually, that's the Yug Dharma. I was hearing one analogy, an example given by this Radheshyam about this, that this Sankirtan Yug, just like in previous Yuga, there would be fire, and in the fire they would put lot of ahuti, then they will put an animal, and the Brahmanas were so pure in their chanting that a fresh animal would come out with a healthy new body, and that would confirm testimony of the sacrifice that it has been done in a wonderful way. In the similar way, in this Kali Yuga, the fire, the Sankirtan Yagya, the Sankirtan, which is chanting the holy name or distributing books of Srila Prabhupada, that's the fire. And you make all these worldly people who are like animals go into this fire. Give them the holy name, give them Prabhupada books. And if somebody is really interested into this fire, they will come out. How? Get transformed, like we all are getting little transformed because of this Sankirtan, because of this reading books of Srila Prabhupada. So important is this. Prabhupada said, if you want to please me, distribute my books. Of course, he said so many things, but this is one of the prominent things which he has said. So we can try not only in this month. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj says, Maya marathon is 365 days. Our marathon is just 1 month. So not just 1 month, but we should try our best to spread this Krishna consciousness in whatever capacity we have in assisting our superiors or distributing these books, so that people also come to know, and those people who are blinded by the wealth, later on they realize that actually this wealth is of Krishna, nothing belongs to them, and then they take up Krishna consciousness. Their life becomes perfect and our life becomes perfect. Hare Krishna. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for beautiful class. So just like you mentioned that Goswamis in Vrindavan, so they are just chanting and everything is arranged by Krishna. So in relation to that, like we see in today's scenario, like just you mentioned that we have so many schemes, sponsoring a temple hall, sponsoring a pillar. So there are so many schemes which we design so that we can attract different type of audience, so collect donations and all. But many times we see, although these things are okay, because Prabhupada also started like a life membership program and all. So they are good. So, but when we engage ourselves in these kind of things, like to design some sponsorships and all, we feel after some time that it's because of my idea that so many donation is like coming and all, so many books are going. So how to like engage in these activities to get the higher score, to get more publicity and more donations, and at the same time protect our consciousness that this is because of Krishna only. So how to balance these two things?
So actually, first thing is that we are in preaching movement and we have been instructed by Srila Prabhupada and our authorities to go and preach. So that's why we do that. We don't just sit and chant Hare Krishna all the time. In fact, Srila Prabhupada said even distributing books is chanting Hare Krishna. Someone is distributing books, isn't it a famous quote? Later he says distributing books, he's also chanting Hare Krishna. So we are instructed to chant 16 rounds, and as Ghostanandis go out and spread Krishna consciousness and connect people with this movement by giving them a book or asking them to make a contribution. And if we just tell them to make a flat contribution, it is very difficult for people to choose. So we have to give options, schemes, whatever fits in their capacity. And whatever yena kirena prakarena mana Krishna niveshayet, some or other, the mind has to be connected with Krishna. The mind has to be engaged in service of Krishna. So some or other, by some schemes or by some nameplate or by sponsorship, or your name will be engraved, or you will have a room for 30 days to use. Some or other, encourage them to offer their whatever they think their so-called position in service of Krishna. So that is important. Should not like after this class sit down and chant and everything will happen. We are not on that level. We have been instructed to go and preach. And regarding us making our plans and able to achieve those plans, and then how to protect ourselves from the thought that I am the doer. So that is very much possible if we are in association of devotees like this, attending full morning program, hearing everyday Bhagavatam class. So when we hear classes every day from so many great devotees who come and lecture here, so when we hear from them, we'll understand, okay, it's not me who is doing it, actually it is Krishna who is making happen. Like when we read the first canto, we read about Arjun. When Krishna disappeared and Arjuna was coming back from Dwarka to Hastinapur, he could not even defeat tribal people. Even they could defeat Arjun, and Arjun felt that he is bereft of all his opulence. The same Arjun who could defeat all the big Kshatriyas, now is feeling he's bereft of all opulence because Krishna has gone away. So like that, when we read every day Srimad Bhagavatam, we hear from the lips of great devotees, that will keep us humble. That hearing is, that's why we should never miss our morning program, this chanting and Bhagavatam classes, association of senior devotees. Because this association protects us and reminds us that it's not me. Actually, I have just become the instrument. I have just become the instrument. Like when Srila Prabhupada was asked that why did Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur did not preach all over the world. What did Prabhupada said? He just left for me. Or when he was asked why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not preach all over the planet, he said he just left for me to take the credit for it. So he did not say, like I am the doer. He said, no, it's all because he told about all his disciples. What he said? Actually, you all are the representatives of my spiritual master, and he has sent them to me to assist me in his mission of spreading Krishna consciousness all over the planet. So when we read about great acharyas like Srila Prabhupada, when we attend regular Bhagavatam classes, when we are in association of devotees, that protects us. And we can also learn that we should do sometime humble services, not like when we grow, we should only do big services. Like you see here, Rukmini Devi, she is personally fanning Krishna. There are so many maid servants, but what she is doing? Personally fanning Krishna. Similarly, you see Yashoda Mai, she is personally making the butter. Although there are so many servants, but she is personally making the butter. We see the example of Maharaj Pratap Rudra. What is he doing? Personally brooming the road in front of Jagannath Ghat. Although he has got unlimited soldiers, servants, cleaners, but he is personally brooming. So we should always, in our, like as we are new bhaktas, that is obvious, but when we graduate of new bhaktas, that becomes very rare. So whenever there is an opportunity, we should purposefully, specifically choose those opportunities where we can do some humble service of cleaning, mopping, go on the streets and do book distribution where no one knows us. In the temple, everyone respects us, Prabhuji, but when we go on the road, no one knows us, and they can just ignore us. So all those things will bring us, make us again and again humble. And that's how that's what I feel we can protect ourselves, we can protect our consciousness. Otherwise, it's difficult. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was personally cleaning the Gundicha temple. Personally cleaning the Gundicha temple. Although again he has so many servants, but it's personally. So sometimes, however great we become, coming back and doing the basic things like we see these examples. will protect us. Hare Krishna. Someone wants to add? Can add. Prabhuji wants to say something. It will come, Prabhu.
Able to hear? Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
I just wanted to add one thing to this. Because you're speaking about the wealth and all. In south of India, people have a misconception that Krishna standing in three-banded form, having the flute, he will take away all the wealth because he blows the flute. So they don't want to have a picture also in their home which has three-banded form. So I don't know from where it came from or who has spread this wrong conception. But it is true that Krishna says it's a tough love when they come to Krishna consciousness, because as you said, people who have wealth, or it is said, Kutti Maharani also says they don't come, they don't develop their feeling for Krishna. As Krishna says to Yudhishthir Maharaj, you know the verse, I think.
Harasya
Yasyaham anugrahnami harishyeta dhanam shaner tato dhanam tvadachandya swajana dukkha dukkhitam. So once they come to Krishna consciousness, if they're real mercy, if they are really Krishna conscious, they want to really. So people are afraid that if they come to temple, if they bow down to Krishna, Krishna might take everything from us, and they become paupers. As you are all from NIT, IIT, but you are not doing anything. So I will also become a little. I don't want to come. So I just wanted to say that it's a tough love, because Krishna takes away everything and puts in a very precarious condition. He can
Yes,
add
Prabhu.
something.
Thank you so much. Krishna, Yasyam Anugrahami, take away, Harishyata Dhanam. And His Holiness Gaur Krishna Maharaj in his Katha tells the Hindi version of this. He said, नारायण जिस पे कृपा करता देता तीन वरदान, रोगी करता निर्धन करता जगत में होत अपमान. हरे कृष्णा. जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय. गौर प्रेमानंद.